there particular roles that you might find people who seem to be more creative in as opposed to, you know, other roles?
Yeah.
Do they tend to cluster in the workplace?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that, you know, from organisations that I've been exposed to, a lot of people say that the creative, wacky types are in the marketing department, which is a little bit cliched. I don't find that that's always the case. You know, I find that there are often some, you know, really creative people in departments where you just wouldn't expect creativity. Like in IT, for example, I've met some amazingly creative, techie kind of people.
Yes.
And, you know, you normally associate the two things together. But I personally find that they're everywhere, even though some departments sort of have a reputation for it.
Yeah, because I imagine if you have a reputation for something and you're always exposed to people expecting you to be creative, then you might find some, you know, more original ideas from people that aren't expected to have those insights.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And we also wanted to know a little bit about some of the other stuff that you're doing with Inventium and some of the links to other projects that you're working on at the moment.
Yeah. Look, a big project that we're working on at the moment is about doing just what you asked before, seeing if we can measure someone's aptitude for thinking creatively, or their creative potential. And so we're currently in the process of validating a particular assessment tool that will basically predict whether people are going to perform creatively in the workplace. So whether that be, you know, coming up with great ideas through selling in their ideas and being open-minded to other ideas as well.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Yes.
And for that validation project, you're looking for...
We're looking for samples at the moment, So we're looking for people who can complete that test themselves, but also have whoever they report into, their manager, do a very quick assessment of how they perceive that person's creativity to be. So that way we'll know whether the test is actually predicting what's happening in reality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Validating what's,
exactly.
How creative they believe themselves to be.
Exactly.
Okay. And what about, I've seen a book lying around your office. Can you tell us a bit about the book?
I certainly can. Yeah. So I've just launched a book called The Creativity Formula, and what that is, it's 50 scientifically proven ways to help boost people's ability to think creatively. And a lot of those ways are instant ways. So if you do this, you will instantly and very significantly increase your ability to think creatively. So it's aimed to be really, really practical tools that people can use, and really easy things as well.
Thinking back in your work to date, have you ever been surprised about what someone's come up with, or you know, I mean, not surprised in a bad way?
That's right. I never thought you could produce an idea. No.
Yeah, really sort of nicely surprised about, you know, where they've got to in terms of what they've created.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I think for me that's one of the most, I guess, enjoyable and sort of buzzy parts of my job. Because when I'm giving presentations or running training sessions, I'll often get people coming up to me saying, you know, I don't have a creative bone in my body, so there's no hope for me, so just worry about everyone else. And what I find really exciting is the transformation that I see in them. So by the end of the day or by the end of the session, they'll almost always say, wow, you know, I actually can think creatively. And it's not just, you know, my partner that's the creative one, for example. So,
Are there any individuals that stand out in your memory? Specific examples. You don't have to use their real names.
Yeah, look, there was one guy in a media company that I trained who his wife was an artist, and he was sort of in a kind of an account management type role where he was about, you know, managing the relationships with clients, and he was exactly like, you know, one of those people who came up to me at the beginning and said, I just, you know, look, I'm not a creative person, so, you know, I'll be open-minded, but you know, focus on the others. And you know, my wife's the creative one; she's the artist, and you know, that's sort of how our roles are. And then by the end of the day, he came up to me and said, "Wow, you know, it's not just her that's creative. Like I can be creative as well. So and those sorts of things happening is very really exciting.
Excellent. Amanatha, I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit more about how creativity or someone's propensity to be creative or not might actually relate to their personality and more regular understandings of personality.
Yeah. Look, there has been quite a bit of research there actually. The thing that comes through most strongly is a person's propensity to be open, so rating high on a dimension of openness, as it's called in various personality tests, which is about being open-minded to new things and not being particularly judgmental, correlates really strongly with creativity. So generally when they've measured someone's ability to generate ideas, they've rated really highly on openness. A couple of other things actually that come through. There have been some studies that have found that lower levels of conscientiousness, which is conscientious is obviously all about being sort of ordered and disciplined and so forth. If you're low on that, tend to be more creative in terms of coming up with better ideas. But then I think the issue there is how good are you going to be at implementing those ideas. So with that low conscientiousness one, I sort of take that with a grain of salt, because I'm not sure how far that will get you with putting the ideas into place. The only other thing that I'd mention is that extroversion can be quite helpful when you're working with a group. Because generally if you're working with a group in a typical brainstorm kind of situation, you need, people with a more extroverted personality are going to be the ones that are going to be heard.
Right.
Certainly in Inventium we have tools that we use to try to counter that, because I don't think that's a particularly useful thing if extroverts are going to be more creative for that reason.
Yes.
But that can sometimes come through if it's just a typical brainstorm where you have people sitting around and throwing ideas at each other.
Okay, interesting. Having more of a creative mindset and applying it to everyday problems. You do a lot of stuff in the workplace, but can you use it outside of that setting?
Absolutely. I mean, and I actually get this feedback from a lot of clients. I mean, our work is predominantly in the business world, but I know that a lot of our clients actually use the tools in their personal life as well. And some problems that you can use it for, it can be anything from, where can we go for a holiday to what are some new ways that I can find a romantic partner, for example. Rather than relying on the...
Just clench my left fist.
That's right. And then, beyond bars, that's right. But really anything where there are a whole lot of different possibilities about how you could, do something in your life, there's a role for creativity, whatever that problem is.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for talking to us today.
Thanks for having me.
And all the best for the future.
Thanks.
Cheers. All right.